Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our second podcast for RGV Canvas Warriors.com, boxing and MMA. My name is John Cannon. Sitting alongside me, as always, is my senior writer, Vinny Davis. Vinny, welcome. What's up with the voice, man? What's going on here?
I don't know. I feel fine, but my voice doesn't sound like my voice.
Well, good thing you can write, man, because if we had to do this for a living with our voices like this, I think we'd probably be fired, wouldn't you say?
Well, I hope not.
That's awesome. Today is Wednesday, December the 12th. This is our second show, ladies and gentlemen. We had our first one last week. Went really well. Huge success. Vinny, before we jump into our next one, let's just give the fans a little bit of a recap of what we talked about last week.
Well, we want to use the podcast to reach more people, reach more fans, share more information of boxing and MMA in the Rio Grande Valley, and just get the word out of what the guys are doing down here.
There you go. Also, I know we touched a little bit about the new crop of talent that we have coming in the Valley. We actually have our first ever special guest in the studio today, Mr. Carlos Diego Ferreira. Carlos, you made history, baby. First time. This is the first time we've had a special guest. Welcome, man. How does it feel? You know, obviously, we're really glad to have you on today.
Yeah, I'm feeling super excited right now. Like you guys, to make this interview right now, and so glad you guys asked me. And today they're supposed to train, but I canceled my train for coming here, and I know I need this, and you guys make this interview, ask about the fights and the fighters, and I think it's gonna be good for the fighters. Watching this and listen everything what's going on in the Valley, you know.
Well, we're glad to have you, and we couldn't ask for a better first guest.
Yeah, thank you.
Exactly, especially after that impressive win, man. We're going to get into that in a little bit with Carlos. But before we begin, we want to talk a little bit about the event Carlos was in, STFC 23, this past Friday. Vinny, I know you couldn't be there with me. I had you in spirit, though, my brother. You know, you're always there alongside me. It was a good show. Great crowd. Carlos, you can attest. I mean, man, the crowd was wild. Crowd was electric. A lot of Carlos Diego fans in the house, man. You could hear it. It was a great night. And I'm going to kind of run through the card a little bit for you guys that weren't there. Kind of let you know what happened. The first fight of the night was Carlos Martinez of Houston facing Joshua Sharpless of McAllen. Now, this fight didn't last very long. Carlos Martinez came in and he took care of business in 7 seconds. He popped Sharpless with I think it was a right hand, wasn't it, Carlos? I know you had saw the fight.
Yeah, I don't saw the fight, but like I saw the video. Oh man, it's kind of like unbelievable because one jab and take the guy knockout in 7 seconds. It's impressive. See, like I really roll the guy from Gracie Barra, and he's pretty tough, you know, but that's the time when it's MMA, you know, it's not jiu-jitsu, but the guy take one punch, the lock punch, I don't know if it's lock punch, but 7 seconds for me is...
Have you ever seen a knockout that fast? I mean, I know that a lot of people, and one of our Valley's own, Goyito Perez, had the fastest knockout in UFC history.
Yeah.
And I believe it was, 30-something seconds, if I'm not mistaken. But have you ever seen 7 seconds?
No,
I mean, I've never seen that, and I've covered this sport for quite a while.
I never seen in my MMA experience, I never seen before 7 second knockout. And okay, I don't have too many experience in MMA, but as long as I see UFC Pride, I never seen before. But that's the first time 7 second in any event. I think it's really good for somebody.
It was kind of scary because Joshua was down for a while, and you know. Obviously, Carlos, you can attest. You've seen fighters that have taken a hit like that, and it's scary. I mean, you never know what can happen. You know what the prognosis can be. Luckily, Josh got up. He seemed to be okay, but he was down. He was down for a while. And I'll tell you, Vinny, it's you know we've always talked about this, man. We're glad that we're outside of that cage doing what we do because guys like Carlos and other people. I mean, just stepping into the cage, man. You're taking your life in your hands, and you're risking a serious injury.
Oh, when they lock the door, I get scared. And I'm sitting on the outside.
That's why we do what we do, folks. That's why we just sit back and write. And, of course, you know, anything we can do for these guys, we always try to do. Second fight of the night was Fabian Saldivar of Santa Rosa against Mark Beltran of Enberg. This one went a little bit longer. It was a second-round TKO scored by Fabian Saldivar. Got his first win First win of his career, so, good for Fabian. Looking for some good things from him. Vinny, this was one you were really looking forward to. Third fight of the night was, you probably know this too, Carlos, Clemente Menguito. The little Filipino, man, against Oscar Ortiz from Team Embo. I tell you what, man, early in the fight, this was really, really something I've never seen before. Early on, Ortiz locked the guillotine in, and I mean, that guillotine was tight. That thing was tight. I mean, not very many fighters could get out of that thing. I mean, that guillotine chokehold was locked in, man, and it looked like Clemente was going to tap, but this guy got out of it. He was in this hold for a good 45 seconds to a minute. And, Carlos, that's a lot of time.
Yeah,
to be in a hold like that for 45 seconds to a minute, and you know how it is. Once that thing is locked in, that's it. You've seen a lot of the big-name guys tap out with that.
And the guillotine. Guillotine is one as one choke. Sometimes it's really, really, when you come and lock on your hands and squeeze on your leg, like the guy stay between your leg and squeezes your arms, it's one choke to really hard to escape, because the guy's gonna use all the strength. If you pass more than 10 seconds, it's kind of survive that time, because if you're gonna get out, you're gonna take a little bit longer. It's like how you told 30 seconds on a guillotine. It's impressive. It's survive.
And here's the weird thing is he got out of it. I mean, he maneuvered and did this and that and worked his head, flipped over Ortiz, got out of the hold, and then next thing you know, he's on top of him just pounding him with elbows. Just pounding him. I mean, unloading on this guy. I really can't believe the referee didn't stop the fight. I mean, because it was ugly. When the bell ended, Ortiz got up and he was about in the cage. He was really discombobulated, didn't really know where he was. They got him over in the corner, looked him over. The ref went and talked to him, seemed to be okay. Second round started out, Menguito, man, he went right back to putting on the pressure. Hit him with some punches and just kicked him with a knee to the head, and that pretty much did it for him. Ortiz was out. Menguito applied the pressure, and the referee finally stopped the fight at the 212 mark. But I tell you what, man, I mean, Carlos, you said it best. Just to get out of a guillotine hold like that, turn around, flip over, work a guy with elbows, and do what he did. I've done this for a long time, and I haven't seen anything like that for a while. I mean, but again, Vinny, this guy had tons of amateur experience coming in.
Yeah, he did. He had 13 wins, 13-0 as a kickboxer back in his home country. So he's he did come with a strong amateur background. And I did speak with Mikey Saenz this past weekend, and he told me that Oscar's okay after the fight, and that he's looking to come back. So
that's good, because it was scary. I know that I saw the paramedics go in the back with the stretcher, and first thing we were worried and we're hoping it wasn't Ortiz. Don't know who it was. Maybe it's just a precautionary measure or whatever. But they literally had to carry him, out of the cage side area, and it's good to know. It's good to know he's okay, man. Again, we talk about you guys taking your life every time you're in that cage. So good to hear that Ortiz is okay, and I'm sure he's going to be back strong. Fourth fight of the night was Andrew De Leon from Houston against Miguel Cobos of Palmview. This one was kind of a surprise. De Leon came in and ended up getting him in a rear naked choke, and forced Cobos to tap out in the first round, 1 minute and 54 seconds. You've seen Cobos fight, and to tell you the truth, he was real disappointed in himself. But this guy De Leon, he was sharp. He looked good. He got that rear naked in, and again, like you said, he locked it in, and it was just a little too much, and Cobos, was forced to tap. Fifth fight of the night was the Battle of the Big Boys. Vinny, this was another one that you weren't there, but I lived in your spirit. So
yeah, I was excited about this one too.
Something interesting here, and you and I touched on this last week in the podcast, our first one. We expected a big stand-up game. You won't believe this, but they went ground and pound. The whole first round was ground and pound. Carlos, have you ever seen? I mean, you think of a heavyweight, you're thinking swinging away. These two guys were on the ground, going at it. Pure ground and pound. I haven't seen that in maybe besides Brock Lesnar, man. That's about the last I've seen.
Yeah, and that surprised me, because it's the first heavyweight in being an STFC, and that's the first event. Like, it's it's really good to see like the heavyweights fight right now, and it surprised me too to see the guys go in the ground pounds. For me, I kind of surprised because everybody can say no, that's gonna be a good fight. Everybody stand up, like a kickboxing, kicks and swing each other, but not. And all both like a go on the ground pounds and submissions. It's good to see this.
It was something else. Frank Trevino was sitting beside me, and I looked at Frank and I said, "Did you have something to do with this?" And Frank, he just had that big old grin. And of course at the end of it, Lewis ended up kneeing Rendon to the face, knocked him on the canvas, locked in a Kimura lock, and that pretty much ended it. He tapped out. But again, impressive to see big guys going on the ground, ground and pound. Co-main event, I guess we could say, Andrew Garza against Josh Trevino. This was kind of an interesting fight. Both guys came in, good friends, former sparring partners, used to train together. Tons of respect for each other. One thing that impressed me, we had talked about Andrew, wanting to donate his entire purse to the Wounded Warriors Project. Andrew Garza came out to the song American Soldiers from Toby Keith and had 2 military personnel with him while he carried the American flag coming out. Vinny, it was really a sight to see, man.
Well, I got to see a picture that Rolly had posted on his Facebook, and it had him coming out, and he was carrying the flag, and it was really nice.
He literally got a standing ovation for that. People were really, nothing against Carlos. Carlos still had the loudest crowd of the night. But I tell you what, when Andrew came out, a lot of people showed respect, man. And it was good to see Andrew get a win. He was coming off 3 straight losses, tough losses against some tough competition. But Andrew came in, and I tell you what, in the beginning, these guys were swinging, man. They were throwing at each other. It looked like there was no love lost in that cage. Right at the 10-second mark, when they banged that little thing, Andrew caught him with a shot, started unloading on him. As soon as the referee's hands came in to stop the fight, the bell rang. So literally, The fight ended as soon as that bell rang. I know that Josh Trevino's people were a little upset by it. They thought the count was a little bit too long. But hey, again, you got to have a winner, you got to have a loser. And I know Josh Trevino, he's going to be back. He comes from a good camp, obviously. But hey, man, good for Andrew. Good for Andrew. It was good to see, for the fact that not only he ended that 3-fight losing streak, but his whole purse is going to a great cause, Carlos. He's donating all his money to wounded soldiers, man. That's something else.
That's just really good. I saw the picture like when he carried the flag, and it's nice to see this, and donate all his money. And it's incredible to see a person do this on MMA, fighters. And it's a good heart. The guy is a good guy. I like him. Andrews. We really trained together a couple times. He's a good guy, hard working, and I have to say nothing bad from him. And I'm really surprised from him to do this, to give his money to a good cause and carry the flag. It's really nice.
Yeah, it was a lot of pride. It really was. It made you, whether you're from America or even Brazilian. It showed so much pride. It really did. And it was good to see. Last but not least, man, Carlos Diego and George. Vinny, we touched on this last week that the submission specialist against the guy that just flat out brawls.
Well, yeah, I know, and me and you talked last summer, yes. Carlos, when you fought in Corpus Christi, and you were telling me that, hey, I just don't want to be known for my ground game. I want to also have a respectable stand-up fight game. Mm-hmm. And if you look at your last 4 fights, you've won with 4 different submission holds. Yeah. So it's got to feel pretty good to know that if you do go to the ground,
you're safe. That's what I don't expect the guys think so much in my ground game, but always somebody try to take me down. My last fight, exactly my fight when I fight a guy from Corpus Christi. I forget his name.
Oh, that was in the last UWF. That was at the
Trayvon Hobbs.
At Trayvon Hobbs.
Yeah, in the championship.
Yeah, the championship, and he's totally strong for me. I know he's a boxer and have so many pro fights in boxing, and surprised me. He tried like one time he tried to take me down, and he get. But I try stand up. I get on the mount and try hit hand, but I know that's when I sit in the ground. I go to the submission. Everything coming in my mind. Everything coming in my instinct to get the submission.
And it's got to feel good to know that you have all those tools in your.
Yeah, that's the good. And right now I've been improved so much in my stand-up game. It's kind of feel better, you know. I know I can have a good punch and a good kick.
And talk a little bit about that, about your stand-up game and who you're training with and what you're doing now to improve that.
Right now, I've been trained DJ Fontes and Coach Rick. You know, Coach Rick been teach me a couple of stuffs on boxing. You know, and I kind of really like. You know, I'm not lying. Like I like to stand up. I like to bang and then try kick, and that's a real compliment. DJ been taught me a couple details on the kick, wrestling. You know, and making me more comfortable in my feet, because my game, my ground game, it is alright, but I want to keep like I want to keep on my feet, stand up, you know, try kick and try grappling, try putting on a cage, you know, and that's my good.
And you did early on in the fight. You know, you came out guns blazing. You were swinging with him. Mm-hmm. I mean, you were throwing so many punches he couldn't even get his hands up. It seemed like, and those elbows, Carlos. I mean, you were nailing him with those elbows. Now, dude, it happened so fast. I couldn't even see it. How did you get the lock in? I mean, next thing I know, you're banging with him. He's on the ground. You're throwing elbows on him. And next thing I know, the guy taps out. Walk me through the sequence of exactly how this happened.
First idea I have in my mind, it's like let he come to me, but like the coach DJ Font say, don't walk him back, and I say, okay, I'm not supposed to walk him back. I have to walk him through. And when I step in the front, he still come out of me, and I throw a jab and a straight right, and I caught him so like hard, I think, on his jaw, and I saw his leg like a bump a little bit, like a bump, like try go down, and I push him a little bit. I try to throw the elbow, punch him a little bit, but I caught him on the elbow like 3 or 4 times when he's still on the ground. And when he's still on the ground, I saw he try push me like a couple of times and put his arm under mine. And that's the time when I go to the Kimura. I kind of feel so fast because he surprised me. And I don't know if I surprised him on my stand-up and in my boxing, but I expect a little bit more from him, you know. But it's good to have my win. It's good to have my submission, but it's a lot of surprise that day.
You want to talk about surprise, Vinny? You know, we were talking last week how Carlos comes out to Christian music. Mm-hmm. You switched it up on us. You came out to "I Won't Back Down" from Johnny Cash. Vinny, I wish we would have bet on that because I would have won.
Yeah.
Vinny wanted to ask you this question. I mean,
just talk to us a little bit about what inspired you to come up to that music.
That's I have a little tough time on last 2 months. You know, I have to fight on Legacy last November. You know. And I could because my brother and my grandma passed away. You know, my brother passed away November 8th, and my grandma 2 months after. And it's a kind of hard time to have, you know, like all this happened to me like in last 1 year. I have happened so many things, you know. But I not give up from the legacy, but I could lose the weight on the time. I could get my things together, you know, my mind together, and I kind of step back. Look, right now is not the time, but give me a little bit more time. Maybe I can
Sure.
get up and go to step in the cage again. And Nick is the one the manager from Legacy, and then he so now Diego, have everything right. When you get ready, we waiting for you. We have a fight.
Well, yeah, going through things like that, real life things.
And that's one thing you said, like the song is, I won't back down, I'm going to stand my ground.
Exactly.
It's kind of like, you know what, even though all this happened, you're not going to back down. You're going to keep doing what you want to do. And that takes us to our next topic. Vinny wanted to bring up. What's next? You told me that, Vinny, he's got some stuff coming up. I know you wanted to ask him about that.
Well, yeah, what do you got in mind, and where are you going from here? And here we got some big plans going on for you.
I have a big plans right this year in Feb. I have a few tournaments, jiu-jitsu tournament. I'm not for sure if I'm gonna do it, but I wanna do it first MMA because I think I have something good coming up from MMA, and I have the legacy, coming up, and I have another tournaments in California from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I think I gotta stay like this, MMA and Jiu-Jitsu together. But if one day, I don't know if it's gonna happen, God know. If that's gonna put MMA in my life, I gonna start like folks that's MMA. But from right now, I'm gonna try keep folks in both MMA and Jiu-Jitsu. I think it's good for me. And that's what I have in plan. And I really want to fight for TFC again at SFC. I think it's gonna be good. One more time.
I'm smiling, and why. I'm gonna ask you right now.
I know, and I think I want to fight again one more time in the Valley. For the neck, because when I fight in the Legacy, I have a 3-deal contract to hand, 3 fights. And I don't know how long and how it's gonna be, but that's gonna have to fight for him.
And obviously, if things go well with Legacy, they might sign you, and it might lead to bigger and better things. But you had said you want to fight one more time in the Valley, and you just happen to want to challenge the 155-pound champ, Vinny. You know who that is?
Yeah, I do. It's Danny Salinas.
Yeah, DJ and Danny go back, a long way. But it's kind of like you and I talked about on the way over here. Nothing personal, just business, right?
It's not personal, anything personal. I talked to Danny Salinas. He's a good friend. We sparred one time. He's a cool guy. We don't have nothing in between. We're gonna do it. That's business. It's my job. I know his job. He worked for this company, TFC, and we gonna put a show. That's I want to tell the guys, I wanna fight one more time. At least I can fight for the belt, And I think I can have a chance because I already fight twice. I already fight twice. I never get a chance for a title shot, and I think it's my time right now. I am 5-0. I think I have a little bit more experience. I have the experience to put in there. And I think it's gonna be a good show, me and Danny, But
it'd be a great fight. I think it'd be a really, really good fight. That's why I'm glad I'm a journalist because I can't cheer for anybody. Mm-hmm. But man, it'd be exciting to see. It really, really would. Before we finish up, we got about 5 minutes left in the show. Vinny, we're going to kind of turn the corners a little bit. And Carlos, we want to get your feedback on this as well. We've got another show coming up next Friday called Borderwars. It's going to be a boxing show, obviously. And Vinny, I know we don't want to touch on it too much because we're going to actually break down Borderwars next week. But Vinny's going to kind of run down the card for you a little bit, a couple of the main guys fighting, as well as a little information on the main event.
Yeah, the main event is going to be Oscar Tovar Jr., and he's going to fight Roberto Perez. Now, these guys fought once before, and Oscar had stopped him in the first round with a body blow. So supposedly Roberto has been saying that Oscar got lucky, and he's been calling for this fight for some time now. So they're going to make it again. The records are totally different here. You've got Oscar is 5-1 with 3 knockouts, and Roberto is 1-10. So, you can't underestimate that record, but this is Oscar's first 6-round fight. Yeah. So he's stepping up. And the difference in the time that they fight, that Oscar's last fight was in May of this last year, and Roberto has not fought since October of 2011.
Wow.
So it'll be interesting to see this. Oscar told me the other night that he believes that the fight's going to end the same way. So, we'll have to come December 21st and find out. But
there you go. What about some of the guys on the undercard? Let's not go through the whole thing because, of course, we're going to preview it. Give me some of the big names, some of the names that are more notable.
All right. Well, we're going to have Far's Mario Amador. He's an exciting young fighter. They train out here in Far with his father at their home there. David Rios is from Edinburgh. I don't know too much about him, but people have been telling me that he's an exciting young fighter. And Richard Hernandez from El Campo. I've had the opportunity to see this young man fight. He's fun to watch, and he brings it. He had a really good fight with Oscar Cantu in Robstown in September, and he came to fight. And then also too. I forgot to mention that Mario Amador is going to fight Arturo Herrera.
Oh, the good old Arturo, man.
And if you've never seen him fight, that guy comes to fight too.
Yes.
He's a veteran. He, his record isn't, I'm not going to put the world title on him anytime soon, but the guy comes to fight. He has a lot of heart. And,
he's one of those tough Mexican fighters who just stands in front of you and he'll bang.
Exactly.
He tests you. He's a good test. He always tests these young guys.
And next week, we're planning to bring on Juan Trevino. So
yes. We're
going to spend a little more time talking about Border Wars, but I think that I think it's going to be a great event. It's right before Christmas, and if you love fights, hey, there's your Christmas present right there.
Carlos, you're still here, man. Hopefully we can get you out there. I don't know if you've been to a boxing match, but man, we'd love to see you out there.
I know.
Especially supporting the young talent.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about.
The young talents, like, I want to say something for the guys, like, if you guys want to fight, go fight. Don't be like, I don't have to fight because it's not my time yet. No, go fight. That's going to be a good show. The young guys from Valley, go put your name right there everywhere on the road. You have to fight. For somebody know you, you have to.
There you go. That's true. That's a good point. Before we wrap up the show, obviously, folks, we always do our segment called Quick Hits. What this is, just to explain to you a little bit, if you've ever watched the Fox Sunday thing that they have, on NFL, you have Jay Glazer come in. He does his quick hits on in and out, in and out. We kind of do the same thing, but in a little different spectrum. Our first quick hit is going to be Sergio Perales. Actually, I talked to him today, Vinny. He's in negotiations to fight Koki Kameda, who is the current WBA bantamweight champion. This fight is negotiations still to be worked out, but they're looking to possibly put together a fight in February. Rafael Murphy, he does have a fight. Going to be fighting in Chicago next Saturday night on the 22nd against a guy by the name of Emmanuel Wright, who is from the area, I believe. Actually, no, he's from Little Rock, Arkansas. Coming in with a 5-1 record in a 6-round cruiserweight fight. Murphy's real excited about that one. And I know you've got a couple of quick hits as well.
Yeah, I spoke with Hector Garza the other day. He's getting back in the gym this week. He's doing some light bag work and trying to get his workout routine down. He, if you remember, about 3 weeks ago, he suffered a hyperextension elbow, and that made him cancel his fight with Marty Gutierrez in Port Aransas. So we'll keep you up on his recovery. And Jerry Belmonte had his first professional loss in Philadelphia against Eric Hunter. He's now 17-1, and I'm sure we're going to see Jerry Belmonte
will be back.
Bounce back from this one.
So, guys, another great show. Vinny, as always, you and I plan, I think, a week in advance for these things. Was a great one. Carlos, thank you for coming on with us, man. Anytime, please keep us informed. Keep us up with what's going on. As always, ladies and gentlemen, you can keep up with everything pertaining to boxing MMA on RGVCanvasWarriors.com. We've got in-depth stories. Got a story on Carlos's last fight, as well as more, of this stuff at an extensive level with a little bit more stories. We give you the appetizers, the meat and potatoes is basically there. So, Vinny, Carlos, thank you guys again, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week.